Okay, so what this session is building on from, we looked at functional areas. So we looked at HR, marketing, production and so forth. Renuka did a kind of recap activity with you. Then we moved on to look at the different organisational structures within business. So what were those three structures? Tell me one, Leah. What were those three structures?
I can't remember. What?
The three organisational structures that we talked about last week, the different types of ways that a business is organised. Functional was one, good, yeah. Functional, geographic and...
Is that matrix?
Matrix, thank you. So functional, geographic and matrix. What we'll look at today is the whole strategic planning process and how aims, objectives and mission statements fit into that process. We've done some work on mission statements, aims and objectives before, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and refresh your memory but not spend too long on that topic. When we talk about strategic, what we mean is long term. So when it's the strategic planning process, it's the long term. So we're talking 5-10 years for a lot of businesses. So if we talk about strategic decisions, they are the huge mission statements, the long-term objectives that a business is trying to achieve. It's not the day-to-day, it's not the medium term, it's the long-term objectives of the business. When we look at tactical your medium term. So that might be a year, might be 6 months. It all depends really on the length of your business plan. And operational are your day-to-day decisions. So for a strategic decision or strategic objective, it may be increasing market share or increasing profit by a certain %. You can see that takes a long time to do, and that's a real long-term objective. Tactical is medium term. So it may be open one new store, research and innovate one new product. So it's still going to take some time, but it's not going to take years and years and years and years. Operational is day to day. How many products do we need to produce today or this week? How many members of staff do we need working on Sunday? How many tills do we need open? It's the logical, practical, day-to-day decisions and objectives that a business has to make. So we could be looking at our average transaction value for any given day or any given department. Okay? The reason why you need to know this is because you need to understand what that strategic means, the strategic planning process, the long-term planning process. You've got the sheets. Some of you have got it, some of you haven't. So it's in front of you on the table. This is the strategic planning process. What you need to think about here is sometimes how the different units that you studied, you can see maybe fit into this. So when we talk about gathering information, how do we gather information? What unit do you study with me that helps you gather information? So what was that? Marketing, isn't it? So you're gathering information, you're finding out what people want. You're finding out what can we do as a business. You're getting information about customer trends, markets, international markets, other businesses. All this information that you're absorbing, right? Then from that, you need to think, okay, what do we want to do as a business? What is our mission? What are our goals going to be? This here is where your aims and objectives and mission statements are going to sit in, especially your missions and your aims. So your mission statement, just remind me, what is a mission statement? Jay, what's a mission statement?
Like a couple of sentences which basically tells you what their goal is. So like, they'd say like, our goal is to make your, I don't know, whatever. Like,
so it's a couple of sentences that sum up.
It's not like a tagline where it's just like a little. It's just like what they're telling you what they want to do, really.
Okay. Can you build on that slightly? Deeper? No?
No.
Annie? So it's a couple of sentences. It sums up the purpose of the business. Its reason for existence. So that's going to be here. So once you know your reason for existence, you need to think about, okay, what do we want to achieve and how are we going to achieve it? The how are we going to achieve it bit is your strategies. So what are your strategies going to be? Is it going to be an aggressive marketing campaign? Is it going to be product innovation? Is it going to be a new sponsorship deal? You know, all these things that businesses can do, well, they need to figure out what are they actually going to do, because you can't do it unless you know what you're going to do. Sounds kind of simple, but it's true. Once you know what you're going to do, you need to do it, you need to implement it. So if we're looking at a new aggressive TV campaign, then we need to be contacting either a marketing company or the TV stations to get the advert out there. We need to have built the advert, recorded the advert. If it's launching a new product, well then we need to actually get it to the retailers. We need to make sure the online retailers have enough stock to cope with demand. Once that plan's implemented though, we're going to have objectives, aren't we? So if it's launching a new product, well then we're going to say how many products are we going to sell in the first week. We all saw the iPad, was it the iPad Mini was launched? You know, that sold millions, didn't it? Over the first weekend. Have you seen one yet?
Yeah.
Has anyone seen
I've
one?
seen the advert when they're playing the piano.
We had some Chinese visitors on Monday, and they had them. They're quite. You've seen the Galaxy Note, but a little bit bigger, but nowhere near as big as an iPad. So it does fit in the pocket, but it's easier to use. So it's kind of that in between market.
What is it about?
It's about that big.
Oh, very.
So it's quite a bit bigger than a Galaxy Note, but nothing near an iPad. So it's that in between market. But they needed to say, okay, we want to sell how many million in the first week. Did we do that? Did we actually sell that many? So once you've got that objective set, you need to actually say whether you've actually done it or not. Because remember, an objective, we've talked about SMART, we will come back onto that a bit later on. We've talked about what SMART means. Well, you need to find out if it was smart, if it did work. How did the plan work? Was the advertising campaign successful? Was the market research good? So what it said about our customers, what they want from this new innovative product, well, did it actually happen? Did the plan work? And what you've got here is a continuous circle. So you've kind of gone round once, you've evaluated the plan, and now it's okay, what do we do next? Is it, again, a different marketing campaign? Is it a new sponsor? Is it a new product? And you're just cycling round strategically in the long term. So each one of these stages is going to take a while, but it's a cyclical process. This kind of hopefully gives you a few kind of words and thoughts to give you an idea of exactly what the point in the strategic planning process is. They're the stages in it. This is the kind of mindset that businesses and managers would have. So thinking about what direction do we want to be in? Where are we now? Because some businesses think, okay, we are successful with a market leader, but are we actually? We think we're innovative, but what do our customers think? Where do we want to be? So where do we want to be in 3, 5 years, in a week? So thinking of operational, tactical, strategic. How did we get where we are now? What did we do that was successful? What did we spend money on that didn't work? It's a very famous quote. I don't know if I told you this. It was, I think it was a guy from Coca-Cola. He said, 50% of the money I spend on advertising is wasted. But he just doesn't know which 50%. So, you know, I think that's quite a good way of thinking about it. Because, you know, you're wasting millions. But how do you know which bit's wasted? It goes back to that previous slide about monitoring performance and evaluating. How do we know our money in marketing is being spent well? Well, it's by evaluating, monitoring performance.
Concourse make Christmas adverts, don't they? That's like Santa Claus is only red because of Coke, isn't it?
That's a good fact. Yeah, it used to be green, didn't he? But because he was in Coca-Cola adverts, they made him. You know it's Christmas when you see those lorries on TV, don't you? When that, you know, that holidays are coming and everything. You know it's Christmas. Have you ever seen the lorry?
What, the actual
Yeah.
one?
If you go up to London, they sometimes come down to
It's in
Pompey.
Asda.
If you go to Oxford Street and Regent Street, they have the whole thing with the snow, and it's quite nice, quite good. I've talked about mission statements, aims and objectives. The best way to think about these is in the same way as your strategic, tactical, operational. So you've got your overall mission, your long-term mission, what do you want to do? Your aims, okay, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to achieve this? What do we want to do in a few years' time, 5 years' time, to prove we are the market leader in a particular industry? But how are we going to do that? If our aim is to be a market leader, what objectives are we going to set to do that? So what's SMART objective? Who remembers what SMART stands for? Any letters? Come on, Berthin. Any letter from SMART?
Can't remember.
No? Not strategic, no, not strategic. Do you remember Moses? No? Okay, we'll come back onto that in a second. Do you remember this I showed you? This example of a mission statement. Remember, to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, one neighbourhood at a time. It's that long term. What does that actually say about it? What? Not that much, really. So the aim may be to be the market leader in coffee shops. Objective, to open this many stores in this year, to increase revenue by this, to launch this many new coffee ranges. So it's following it through. Can you see where you've got your mission statement? Then you may have 3 aims. Then each aim would have maybe 5 objectives. So you think of it as a family tree with your mission statement at the top, your different level down your aims, and then all your objectives. So you need your objectives to achieve your aim, you need your aim to achieve your mission. And as I've said, I like my pictograms. What does it say?
Smart equals.
Smart target.
Smart targets, thank you very much. Do you know what I knew what's catchphrase? Do you remember catchphrase? God, how old am I getting? Do you know what? It's horrible. I thought it's from the other side now. And people saying that to me, and this video saying, "No, I've never heard of that." You can't put catchphrase on BBC Radio 1. You know, can you guess what it is? Oh, give up. Smart targets, okay? Smart targets. Specific. You might want to write this down. Specific. Measurable. Achievable. Realistic. And time-based. Okay, so specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-based. If I said I'm going to set myself a target of getting better at business, is that a good target? Is it smart? So if I said to get better at business, it's not smart. Make it better.
Huh?
Make it better. Make it more smart than I've said. Have a go. Have a guess.
In a month's time.
Okay, so to get better at business at a month's time, so that adds the T to it, doesn't it? You've added the time-based bit. Okay, is it good now? Are we happy with that as a smart target? To get better at business in a month's time. You happy with that, Zoe?
Not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time. You are right, there's not a lot of time, but at least it's got a time. Think of the other letters that you've got in front of you. Does it meet all those criteria?
No, because how are you supposed to know you're better at business?
Ah, how do you know you're better? So what is it? It's not measurable, is it?
No.
Is it really specific?
No.
It's, well, I'm hoping it's realistic. Achievable, yeah, but specific and measurable. So a better target would be, for example, maybe, for you guys, to learn and remember what SMART stands for by this time next week. Specific, it's saying what it's about. It's measurable, well you've either done it or not. Achievable, yes. Realistic, yes. There's a time. Okay? How this links in with your assignment. This is your question. Explain how businesses, i.e. your 2 businesses, Apple and the Pound Shop, use the strategic planning process to achieve their goal. You should identify how the following are used within a business, giving examples from the 2 businesses. Bear in mind, again, that your examples are probably going to be Apple. And that's fine. Alright? That's fine. What I'm going to do now is stop the camera and we'll have a chat as more of a debate type thing. We'll discuss exactly what you're going to do for this assignment.